Sawadee Krap and welcome to another episode for the Funk Report. And it's not Monday. Usually I do MMA on Mondays, but I wanted to do this video for such a long time. But as you may be able to hear from my voice, I've been quite sick the last week or so. So it's now very close to one event. One goes America. One Fight Night 10. Johnson Morales 3. Actually, I planned to have like a breakdown, like a countdown to one Fight Night 10. But like I said, I've been sick the whole last week or even a bit longer. So this will have to do. But I'm still very excited because, well, if you've listened to me before, you know that usually I don't do like breakdowns. I leave that to Ariel and Luke Thomas and so on. But when it comes to one championship, those people clearly don't know what they're talking about. They have no clue what they're talking about. They still call it ONE FC and it's not called ONE FC for a decade now or whatever. I don't know for how long. They still talk about soccer kicks. Soccer kicks have been banned for 5+ years or whatever. So those people clearly don't know what's happening in one championship. So let me explain. So one championship, big over here in Asia. I'm based in Bangkok. For those who are new, welcome to the channel. And so one is big here, of course. Like one also did started a very smart endeavor, pun intended maybe, just a few months ago, where they have Friday night fights. Every Friday night here from Lumpini Stadium. Lumpini is like the mecca of Muay Thai, so to speak. So they go to this famous, world famous Muay Thai stadium every Friday night and put on some fights, mostly Muay Thai, but also MMA, which is really cool and really has helped them to increase their brand recognition also over here in Asia, because especially in Thailand, MMA isn't as big just yet. But Muay Thai, of course, is the national sport. So this was a smart, endeavor, as I said, to make MMA a bigger thing here in Asia. Now they are in the US, in Colorado, for the first ever US event. And, well, let's look into who's on the card, what to expect, and so on. And, of course, we start with the main event because that's probably the fight that you're familiar with, right? So Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, the champion, defending against Adriano Morales for their third encounter. So what to expect? You're familiar with Mighty Mouse, obviously, former UFC champ, now one champ. He won the one tournament that got him the title shot in the first place. Then Adriano Morales knocked him out with a knee to the ground, but that's allowed in one championship. Soccer kicks are not. Knee to the grounded opponent are allowed, and that's how Morales knocked him out in the first encounter. The second encounter, then Mighty Mouse got his win back with also like a flying knee knockout against the fence. Awesome sequence there. You've probably seen that because that's the only thing that Ariel, Luke, and all those others talk about and showed. So now Mighty Mouse is the champ, and now Adriano Morales wants his title back. Adriano Morales, for those who don't know, he's been a 3-time champion in the division in one championship, so he's not a nobody. He was the man before Mighty Mouse came over. Okay, so Adriano Morales is not just like some young contender that no one knows. Adriano Morales ran the division. Okay, so that's important to understand. So, I mean, that's the fight that I have to talk about the least, because you know Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse said he might retire after that, but not sure. Doesn't matter if win, loss, draw, whatever. They have to make the decision afterwards because he has so many business endeavors, there's it again, going on, so that he needs to think about that. Now, fair enough, I guess. I'm on Ariel's page with this. I don't like that he talks about it like this, so that might mean that he's not really into it, that his mind is not really into it. But we will see, right? So that's the first fight, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Adriano Morales 3. Expect a banger. Like both fights before were bangers. It's going to be another banger. I know Mighty Mouse hasn't really gotten the shine in the UFC, but if you've seen his fights in one, you wonder why. Like, it's not like they're always like fireworks. He had like a bit of like a non-fireworky outing against Yuya Wakamatsu, but a very smart one. It was like some high-level chess, so to speak. And I hate that metaphor usually, but in this case, you were looking and watching, you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? So that was kind of cool. So, you know, Mighty Mouse, you know, Adriano, a little bit at least, I assume, from those highlight reels, I guess, after knocking out Mighty Mouse and after being knocked out. Well, it's really hard to predict this, in my opinion. Usually I don't do predictions here, but for one, I do them. I don't do it for the UFC or anything. But here, yeah, so I'm not sure if Mighty Mouse is really has his mind in there right now. If he talks about retirement and so on. But then again, it's Mighty Mouse. You cannot never bet against Mighty. I mean, you should have bet against him in the first fight, clearly. But it's just so hard to bet against Mighty Mouse. So just imagine Mighty Mouse winning on Friday for the Americans, and then Cejudo winning on Saturday. That would be wild. I'm going, and if you're watching this video right now, you're thinking, why are you looking at a tablet? Well, I'm sick, so I'll just make sure that I have all the notes here. So, I'm going for Mighty Mouse. I can't, he's the GOAT. I mean, it's hard to say, hard to bet against him. Now, it's a time for me to bring you the fighters a bit closer, right? Second bout from the top, Rodtang Chitmanong versus Edgar Tabares. Rodtang Chitmanong is the Thai superstar, nicknamed the Iron Man. You might have seen, or if you're about to watch one on Friday, you might have seen a few highlights from Rodtang. Like he marches forward, right? And so that's Muay Thai. I was about to say obviously, but if you don't know, so Rodtang is a Muay Thai superstar, 200 something fights here in Thailand. So, and he's just 25 or something. So everyone knows him, everyone loves him. He's walking forward and just pressure fighter. Very entertaining. Not very, I don't know, good for his future health, I believe, because he likes to take shots. Like sometimes he just stands there, hands down, tells his opponent to hit him. They hit him and then he shakes it off like Hulk Hogan. He hulks up and then he just knocks them out. This can't be good for your future, like concussions. And then he needs, I don't know, he's going to have so many concussion problems in the future, but it's very entertaining, and that's why they're pushing him so much. And he's the flyweight Muay Thai world champion in one championship, and he fights Edgar Tabares from Mexico. And Edgar Tabares is it a former or still WBC or W whatever that is called, Muay Thai world champion, so one of those organizations outside of Thailand that don't really count. Shots fired. So he's a Muay Thai world champion as well. So they're facing off. The video I've seen from Tabares was nice, like slick Muay Thai. But Rodtang is just he's different. He's different. And many people you hear many people say about fighters, but there's just no quit in Rodtang, right? You need to take him out. Like he's not stopping to move forward. He just keeps coming for 3 rounds, 5 rounds, whatever. He just keeps marching at you. The only one who's ever backed him up a little bit was Jonathan Haggerty, but also even Haggerty then lost both of their fights actually. So this will be fireworks. You can expect, he's a showman. You can expect fireworks from Rodtang versus Edgar Tabares. I'm based in Thailand. I've seen Rodtang numerous times. I'm obviously picking Rodtang Chitmanong. By the way, last name Chitmanong, just so you know. In Thailand, the fighters very often get the last name, or the last name is the name of the gym that they're training out. So the Chitmanong is not actually Rodtang's real last name, it's the name of his gym. And you will see this later too, with Stem Fairtex. She's training out of the Fairtex gym, for example, and so on. Okay, we have a flyweight submission grappling world championship. And now you're probably going to hate on me, between Mikey Musumeci and Osama Almarwai. And you can already see that I'm not the biggest submission grappling fan or, I don't know, scholar. That's simply because, I do train in Muay Thai. I don't want to say I fight because it's clearly not, it's not the same as actual fights, obviously. And I tried to get into BJJ, and I enjoy watching Gordon Ryan and later down the Rutolos and stuff like this. But Mikey Musumeci, I just cannot get behind. This just jumping on your back from the get-go and hoping that the other dude comes somewhat close to you, and then you just grab him. Yeah. Almarwai seemed very confident in the press conference. Very accomplished. I tried to look up some of his previous bouts as well. He looked good. I mean, as far as I can judge. So my strength in judging fighters, I think, is clearly more in the stand-up than in the ground game. But he did look very slick. But for some reason, Mikey Musumeci always wins, and you can tell me that reason. So I'm not even trying to be condescending. Please tell me why this always works. I'm really curious to hear that. I'm happy to learn, so I'm not even kidding about please do be nice in the comments, but please do let me know how does it always work, this flopping on the back and then just some they walking to him, trying to do something with their feet, and then he grabs them. I mean, if you know that's going to happen, then just don't do it. I don't know. Let me know, please. I'm serious. Okay, then I don't know. Like I pick Musumeci because Musumeci always wins. Then we have Stamp Fairtex versus Alice Anderson. You might have seen Stamp Fairtex once or twice if you follow the One Championship social media channels. No, you've seen her all the time. Obviously, it's ridiculous. Like how much content One is posting about Stamp. I'm in Thailand. I'm based in Thailand. I support Thai fighters. Even for me, the amount of Stamp content is annoying. And I really like watching her fight. But the amount of Stamp content right now, One Championship, ridiculous. But so they're trying to push her very hard to be like the next face of One Championship, at least the female face of One Championship. She's taking on Alice Anderson. Alice Anderson is the girl that had like one post on One Championship social media over the last 3 months or so, while Stamp had 300. Alice Anderson, in an interview with the Schmoes, she sounded also very angry about that. She's like, it's in America and they're not even promoting the American. Like, what the... That might be her undoing. Like, the big strength usually of Thai fighters is that they can control the emotion very well during the fight. They're very emotional people afterwards, before maybe, but during the fight, like, they're not... It takes a lot to make them angry and lose their cool. Right? Because they have so many fights. So, that might be the undoing for Alice Anderson. Chatri, the CEO of One, just announced that the winner of Stamp versus Alice will get interim world championship match against the interim world champion, while Angela Lee, the actual world champion, is still on hiatus after the passing of her sister, Victoria. So there are high stakes in this matchup. I cannot see... So all the hype aside, right? I'm not a big fan of, like, Stamp always dances on the way to the octagon or to the ring, wherever she's fighting. She's dancing inside and she's dancing all the time. And I'm not a fan of that show womanship in this case. But you cannot deny that she has a great skill set. And the transition from a Muay Thai fighter to an MMA fighter was really impressive. Like, I did not expect that. And I mean, I'm not the end-all be-all of people judging others on their fighting abilities. But, I mean, you see, like, striking professionals and they go into MMA and then they clearly stick to the striking. Like, Stamp goes for the takedown. She goes for the jokes. She tries to joke you out. Very impressive, like, I think. So I'm picking Stamp here. She was hanging in with Angela Lee. She almost took Angela Lee out. That was crazy. So yeah, Stamp takes that, in my opinion, and One Championship wants her to take it. So if it goes to a decision, that's the weakness, by the way, of One Championship bouts. They're not judged round by round; they're judged in their entirety, which sounds nice because it means, like, if you do more damage in the last round, you get the fight, even though you might have lost the first round, like, on a narrow margin. Sounds nice. Also means we have no clue which judge judges how. It's just like Judge 1 gives it to the blue corner, Judge 2 gives it to the blue corner, Judge 3 gives it to... That's the announcement usually, so you're like, what? So the decisions in One are sometimes a bit questionable, so if it goes to decision, I'm sure One has Stamp winning. I do think there might be a early stoppage in the books, though. Early stoppage in the books would also be for the fight that is on the card before the former hottest free agent in MMA, Roberto Soldic from Croatia, takes on Sebastian Kadestam, the former welterweight One world champion. This sounds good on paper, and now just let me check so I don't say anything that's wrong. That sounds good on paper. However, Sebastian Kadestam did hit like a rough patch with like 3 losses in a row, but now he's on a 2-fight winning streak. Oh, his last win was against Yuri Lapicus. Oh, rest in peace, Yuri Lapicus. Yeah. Let's move on from that. But okay, so 2-fight winning streak. So he had like he hit a rough patch there when he lost his title and then like lost 3 in a row. Now bounced back with 2 wins. Roberto Soldic is like the prospect, right? Former high-level superstar kickboxer. Trains with Mirko Krokop. So lots of expectations there. I'm just checking. He's 28 years old. And yeah, his first fight for one was a no contest. That was really disappointing. So this is basically like his first real outing now for one championship on the biggest card so far ever. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I gotta pick Roberto Soltic, like just based on what he's done so far. And I mean, not in one. In one, he hasn't done anything, but I mean, the UFC wanted him. The hype there must be something to the man, right? And now the fight that I wanted to talk about for the most, because he's back, bringing you world peace, bringing you love, make love, not war. Sage Northcutt, Super Sage Northcutt is back after a 4-year hiatus, after the terrible knockout loss that shattered his jaw against Cosmo Alexander in his first fight for one. He's back. He takes on Ahmed Mujaba from Pakistan. You know Sage. I don't have to tell you much about Sage Northcutt, obviously. I will anyways, because actually that interests me. How old is Sage by now? Still only 27. His only fight in one championship was a loss to Cosmo Alexander, the terrible shattered jaw. Pardon me. See, now you hear me coughing because I'm actually sick. That's where you press the sympathy like. Ahmed Mujaba, loss, win-win, loss, win-win. So on a 2-fight winning streak against Raul Raju. No offense, everyone wins against Raul Raju. I'm sorry, I know he can kick my ass, but I'm sorry. And Abrao Amorim, which is not necessarily the biggest name in one championship, but hey, at least he has some wins under his belt. But this is make or break for Sage. If he really wants to be a fighter, this is make or break. Like, I mean, he has to win here, right? He has to win. I mean, he has to win. Yeah, but it shows you also that Ahmed Mujaba is a dog, like with like 2, 3, 6 fights in one championship, which is pretty good, and 4 wins out of 6 fights, so that's pretty good. So could be tough for Sage, but it's not as tough as Cosmo Alexander. Let's be honest. So pulling for Sage to bring us world freedom, world peace, and maybe finally a victory in the one championship ring. The fight before is actually the fight of like my previous or my former favorite fight of one championship, Ong Lan Sang. Like the fighter who brought me to one championship, when I watched one of his fights, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. From Myanmar, from Burma, like a country very close to my heart. So he trains in the US though. So Ong La versus Fan Rong, and Ong La used to be the champion in the middleweight division in one championship. Lost his title. He's getting a bit older now. He's like in late 30s, I think. Ong La is 37. So yeah, entering the late 30s. He used to be the champ, then lost his championship belt, then lost a few more fights after that. But then he kind of find like a way to reinvigorate himself, and has been on a run since. If I'm not mistaken, he has 2 wins in a row now, and 2 really good wins. Against Yushin Okami, that was a good one, and then Gilbert Galvao. So he's on a roll right now again. The last fight was like a really short turnaround. That was pretty impressive actually. He just won, and then he just turned around within like a few weeks and won again. So yeah, Ong La is the dog. Like he's not a dog in him, he is the dog. Ong Lan San will never give up. He's not as explosive anymore because he's getting older. And it's tough, of course, on your body and stuff like this. But Ong La will never quit, which is awesome. And that's pretty inspirational, I think. So I really like Ong Lan Sang. Like I watched his first fight that I watched was in Myanmar. The people went crazy for him. It was ridiculous. He faces Fan Rong. Fan Rong is on a 1-loss skid against Vitaly Bigdash, which is a fight you can lose, definitely. He also lost to Renier de Ridder before, the former champion, and he won against Sharif Mohammed and Yuri Simoes. So yeah, 2-2, 50% fighter so far. I'm going with the red corner again, but is it going to be a sweep for the red corner? But Ong La is kind of like one of my favorite fighters. So even though it's not that explosive anymore, but it's Ong La. So Ong La, you got his man. I want to see like another highlight finish there. Ong La versus Fan Rong. Ong La, by the way, if you don't know, he always brings it. Like I said, might not be as explosive as before anymore, or as flashy, but he brings it. Like don't blink. Like I'm not even kidding. The last time I blinked, I got something to drink or whatever, and then he knocked the other dude out. So Ong La is awesome. Ong La got this. Then 4 more fights, 2 more on that card. Rene De Ridder versus Tai Ruotolo, middleweight submission grappling bout. Rene De Ridder, former 2-division MMA champion in one championship until he ran into Anatoly Malikin. And that was a nasty knockout. And so Rene De Ridder lost his belt there. Now trying to bounce back. There's a joke like, hey, finally he woke up from that knockout. It was a nasty knockout. And he's facing Tai Ruotolo, the superstar, US superstar, newcomer, 20 years old. You probably know Tai Ruotolo if you're from the US, if you're into submission grappling. Yeah, for me, when they announced the fight, right? I mean, yeah, I know you said like in submission grappling, size doesn't matter. Rene De Ridder is so much lankier than Tai Ruotolo, I think. I don't see how Tai Ruotolo like is gonna sub De Ridder. I see De Ridder because De Ridder has nasty subs. Like almost all of his stoppages are subs in MMA. I mean, I like Tai Ruotolo. Like I said, the Ruotolo brothers, they do crazy shit, and that's fun to watch. So even for someone like me who is not necessarily into submission grappling, I like watching the Ruotolo brothers. But I don't see like De Ridder must be a giant compared to Ruotolo. Like that's tough. So I wanna see Ruotolo win with something crazy. I assume Rene De Ridder, RDR, how Ariel calls him, because that's the second fighter Ariel knows. RDR might just be too tall, too lanky. We're kicking off the card with Jackie Buntan versus Deandra Martin from Australia. Jackie Buntan, I follow her on Instagram, and so having that said, it means I kind of like seeing how she fights, right? However, a few previous fights were controversial. So Jackie Buntan, 25 years old, win, loss, win. The win against Amber Kitchen, her last fight, was really close. Could have gone either way, but I was biased, so I had it for her, but it was really close. Her loss to Smilla Sandel before was a clear loss. She has wins over Daniela Lopez, who fought for the title not too long ago. She has a win over Nat Jaronsak. Nat is a super Wonder Girl, Wonder Girl, so one of the also stars that one wants to push, so she's also really good. And she has a win over Yekaterina Vandrayeva. So also a majority decision though. So those decisions are always very close, but she gets it, right? So props to her for Jackie Buntan. She's fighting Deandra Martin from Australia, who is 27, has like 1 loss, 1 win. She also won against Amber Kitchen in the last fight, just like and lost to Smilla Sandel, also just like Jackie. So that should be interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of like a fan of Jackie Buntan. Like I just like that she gets better every fight. Just what she puts out on social media is nice. Like it looks like she has a smart approach to it. I like it. So yeah, red corner one more time. It's all for the red corner. Then we have the bonus bouts. Like there are 2 bonus bouts this time. There's Kairat Akhmedov versus Reese McLaren. Reese McLaren being coached by John Wayne Parr, the legend, the gunslinger. So Reese McLaren always wins a few, loses a few. Has been in there for a while now. He's 31 by now. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. He only lost to Danny Kingard, who was the former champion in the division, and he lost to Yuya Wakamatsu, who's always in a championship picture in the division. Other than that, he won, which is nice. The last 2 wins against Shi Wei from China and Vincent Ramos from Brazil. Reese McLaren, also like a submission specialist, but now with John Wayne Parr in the corner, also focuses more on striking. Kairat the Kazakh Akhmedov. 1 loss against Geishe Eustakio in 2018, and then only wins. He won against Mahao Bin, against Reese McLaren before. He won against Daheng Kim, and he won against Danny Kingard and Tatsumitsu Wada. So he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-fight winning streak. Yeah, that should be fun. I'm not just saying that because the last time I watched Akhmedov, like he goes for it too. Like he's one of those who's like, nah, points, decisions. What is that? He tries to go for it, which is appreciated. Reese McLaren throws wild shit and then goes for the subs. He is also one of those dogs. There are a lot of those at one championship. He doesn't he looks like Nate Diaz after fights sometimes, right? But he just doesn't stop. Very often he also comes with very colorful hair. And the last/first bout, Loman Tainanas from the US against Ok Yoon. Loman Tainanas hasn't been that active over the past few years. He's 32 right now. He has 5 wins, 1 loss in the last 6 fights. But that's from 2015 to 2022, so it's like really not many fights there. Lots of 2-year layoffs in between and stuff like this. So hard to judge. He's fighting Ok Yoon. Ok Yoon came out of nowhere, out of South Korea, but came out of nowhere. He won against Marat Gafurov. He won against Eddie Alvarez. He got a title against Christian Lee, won that, and then he lost the title again in the rematch to Christian Lee, via TKO. That was crazy. Christian Lee really throwing all caution to the wind and just getting it done. But that was crazy. So Ok Yoon really surprised me that he's that far down on the card. But it's all if you follow this channel, you know that I sometimes do criticize one championship for their business model and whatnot, but the fights are usually good, and that's a killer card. My voice is leaving, my nose is running, so I'm ending is on this. I hope at least I brought you the fighters a bit closer. After the event, I am hopefully not sick anymore, and I will do a detailed breakdown of your favorite fighter, of your favorite one fighter, of your favorite decision, your favorite knockout, your favorite submission, and so on. And we'll talk about all those things. Until then, take care, stay safe. Always keep your guard up. Watch one championship, and I'm not affiliated. Chatri, we should change that. Unblock me on Twitter and send me money. Take care, stay safe. Like, share, subscribe. We'll talk soon. Sawadee Cup.